Most drivers think a turbocharger is just a bolt-on part that makes a car faster, a simple fan that pushes more air. But the reality is that it is a precision instrument spinning at over 200,000 RPM, operating at temperatures hotter than a pizza oven, and is far more delicate than you think. One wrong move, one bad habit, and you could be staring at a repair bill that costs more than the car itself. We are talking about an $8,000 mistake that happens in driveways every single morning because drivers treat their turbocharged cars exactly like their old, naturally aspirated ones. In this video, we are going to break down the 5 most dangerous habits that are silently killing your turbo engine right now. These are not just good practices to follow if you feel like it. These are survival rules for your engine. And stay tuned for number 4 because it is a habit you probably think is saving you gas money, but in reality, it is cooking your oil and starving your bearings of the one thing they need to survive. One of the most common mistakes that destroys turbos is the cold start and go syndrome. You know the drill. It is a frosty morning, you are running late, so you start your engine and immediately hit the gas to merge onto the highway. Sound familiar? This is one of the most damaging things you can do to a forced induction engine. When you start a cold engine, especially in freezing conditions, the oil is as thick as molasses. It sits in the oil pan and takes time to circulate. Your turbocharger needs proper lubrication immediately because it spins much faster than the engine itself. Accelerating hard before the oil has a chance to warm up and thin out is a recipe for disaster. Imagine trying to sprint a marathon the second you wake up without stretching or drinking water. That is what you are doing to your turbo bearings. The oil has not thinned out enough to flow into the tiny gaps between the shaft and the housing. Metal grinds on metal, and within seconds you have caused wear that usually takes years to accumulate. The solution is simple but requires patience. Allow your engine to idle for 2 to 5 minutes before driving. It is just a few minutes of your time, but it can add years to your engine life. Wait for the RPMs to drop to normal idle speed. That is your engine telling you that the oil pressure is stable and it is ready to move. Now let us talk about what you are putting in your tank. There is a massive myth that premium fuel is a scam and that regular gas works just fine in everything. For a basic economy car, that might be true, but for a turbo engine, the quality of fuel you use matters a lot. Since turbochargers increase pressure in the combustion chamber, which means your fuel needs to withstand higher compression without pre-igniting. Using low quality or incorrect octane fuel can lead to engine knocking or pre-ignition, also known as detonation. Those little explosions in your cylinders are bad news for your engine. When the air and fuel mixture ignites too early, it sends a shock wave that hammers the piston while it is still moving up. This puts immense stress on the connecting rods and the turbocharger itself. Modern engine control units try to fight this by pulling timing, which kills your power and efficiency, so you end up paying for a performance engine, but getting economy car performance, all while risking catastrophic damage. Always refer to your vehicle owner manual for the recommended fuel grade. If it says premium, do not cheap out. The few extra bucks at the pump are nothing compared to the cost of major engine repairs. Using 87 octane in a car tuned for 93 isn't a hack. It is a slow death sentence for your pistons. The third killer is a feature found in almost every modern car that was designed to save the planet but often kills engines. Stop and start systems. They are great for fuel efficiency and emissions stats on paper, but they can be trouble for turbo engines if you rely on them too heavily. It all comes down to oil circulation. Every time the engine stops, even for a few seconds at a red light, oil flow ceases. This can be a real problem if the engine shuts off when the turbocharger is still hot. Imagine you just pulled off the highway after a long drive. Your turbo is glowing at 1,000 degrees. You stop at the off-ramp light, and the stop-start system kills the engine. The oil pump stops, the cooling coolant stops. That heat has nowhere to go. It soaks into the stationary oil inside the turbo bearing housing, cooking it into a hard coke-like substance. Over time, this constant start and stop cycle can lead to increased wear, oil coking, and blocked oil passages. The oil lines get clogged with burnt residue, starving the turbo of lubrication the next time you start up. So use these systems wisely. Consider disabling the stop and start system manually, especially after hard driving or towing. And always use high-quality oil approved for stop and start systems. If you know you have been pushing the car hard, hit that disable button before you come to a stop. Your turbo needs that cool down time to survive. This brings us to the absolute worst habit of all, and it is the one people do every single day without thinking: immediate shutdown after high load driving. Picture this scenario. You have just finished a long highway drive or climbed a steep hill. You pull into your driveway, turn the key, and walk away. Sounds harmless, right? Wrong. After high speed or high load driving, your turbocharger can reach temperatures over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That is hotter than a pizza oven. Turning off the engine immediately cuts off the oil supply, leaving all that heat trapped inside the metal housing with nowhere to go. The result is a phenomenon called heat soak. The oil trapped inside the bearings boils and burns, turning into sludge and hard carbon deposits that block the tiny oil passages. When you restart the car later, fresh oil cannot get through those blocked veins. The bearings run dry, they overheat, and eventually the turbo seizes or shatters. Not good. The fix is simple. Let your engine idle for 30 seconds to a minute after high-stress driving before shutting it off. It is a small step that can make a big difference in your turbocharger lifespan. This allows fresh, cooler oil and coolant to cycle through the turbo, bringing the temperature down to a safe level before the pumps stop. Think of it as a cool-down lap for your car. If you do not have time to sit in the driveway, just drive gently for the last mile of your trip. Stay out of the boost, cruise slowly, and let the airflow do the work. Finally, listen up because this is crucial. Neglecting regular oil changes is the fastest way to kill a turbo. In a turbo engine, oil does not just lubricate, it also helps cool the turbocharger. And let me tell you that oil degrades fast under those conditions. Turbos add immense heat and sheer stress to the oil. The molecules break down quicker than in a naturally aspirated engine. Manufacturers might tell you that 10,000-mile oil change intervals are fine, but that is for ideal conditions that almost nobody actually drives in. Skipping oil changes implies you might as well be throwing sand in your engine. Old, broken-down oil loses its ability to protect against metal-on-metal contact. It shears down to a watery consistency that cannot support the shaft spinning at 200,000 RPM or worse. It turns into sludge that clogs the oil feed line, which is a tiny tube that is the only thing keeping your turbo alive. So consider changing engine oil every 3,500 to 5,000 miles. Do not believe the extended intervals if you want your turbo to last. Those intervals are marketing tools, not engineering best practices. And always use high-quality synthetic oils specifically formulated for turbocharged engines. Look for certifications like APISP or ILS-ACGF6, which are designed to prevent low-speed pre-ignition and handle high heat. Your turbo will thank you. But before we wrap this up, there's one more thing that almost every turbo owner overlooks, and it's not really a habit. It's a misunderstanding that has led to thousands of blown turbos and misdiagnosed engine failures. I'm talking about boost leaks and ignoring small performance changes that seem harmless at first. A turbocharged engine is basically a pressure-managed ecosystem. Everything: airflow, fuel delivery, ignition timing, exhaust flow, relies on that pressurized air being delivered exactly when and where the ECU expects it. When even the smallest leak develops in an intercooler hose, a vacuum line, or a clamp that's slightly loose, the whole system gets thrown off balance. Most drivers don't even notice it at first. Maybe the car feels a little sluggish. Maybe the turbo has to work a bit harder to make the same boost, or maybe the fuel economy drops a little. Nothing dramatic, so they ignore it. But here's the problem. When boost air escapes, the turbocharger compensates by spinning faster, much faster. It overworks itself to hit the target pressure, and that added workload causes the shaft speed to skyrocket beyond what it was engineered to handle. Imagine running on a treadmill with a weighted vest. At first, you can push through, but keep that up every day, and eventually something snaps. Your knee, your ankle, your stamina. The turbo is the same. It tries to compensate until it physically can't keep up. The result, overspeeding, bearing wear, and catastrophic compressor failure. A simple $10 clamp or a $40 hose could be all that stands between you and a full turbo replacement. So if you ever notice a faint whistling noise, a sudden drop in boost, black smoke under acceleration, or inconsistent power delivery, don't shrug it off. Get a smoke test done, inspect the intercooler pipes, look for oil residue around couplers, and tighten every clamp you can reach. Boost leaks don't fix themselves. They get worse until they introduce bigger problems like misfires, rich running conditions, and fouled catalytic converters. Now let's address something that turbo owners rarely think about, but absolutely should: heat management outside the engine bay. Turbos generate massive amounts of heat, not just from the hot side of the turbo, but through radiant heat that spreads across the engine bay like a mini furnace. If your engine bay isn't managing that heat properly, it will slowly cook sensors, wiring harnesses, plastic connectors, and even your intake temperatures. High intake temperatures mean less oxygen, which means the turbo needs to produce more boost to make the same power. That extra boost strains the turbo, the intercooler, and the engine internals. It's a domino effect. You may think everything is fine because the car still drives, but the slow burn is happening behind the scenes. Heat shields, turbo blankets, proper ducting, and even something as simple as cleaning your intercooler fins can dramatically reduce temps. Dirt, leaves, road debris, they all act like a blanket stopping airflow. Clean them once every few months. It's free performance and it's free protection. And while we're on the subject of hidden issues, let's talk about bad tuning, because this one kills more turbos than people realize. Everyone loves a tune. More power, more torque, more boost. It's the easiest way to wake up a turbo engine, but rushing into the cheapest tune you can find or trusting an inexperienced tuner is like letting an amateur dentist perform oral surgery. Sure, they might have the tools, but one mistake and you're paying for reconstruction. A bad tune can command too much boost, use the wrong timing maps, run the engine too lean, or fail to enrich the mixture under load, all of which can lead to turbo overspeed, detonation, and fried exhaust valves. If you plan to tune your turbocharged car, go to a reputable shop that specializes in your specific platform. A good tune doesn't just add power, it protects the engine and turbo with proper safety limits and thermal management. A bad tune is a shortcut to the junkyard. So there you have it. The 5 silent killers of turbo engines are cold start racing, cheap gas, abusing stop and start systems, hot shutdowns, and old oil. Avoiding these mistakes isn't just about saving money on repairs, it is about keeping your car fun to drive. A healthy turbo is responsive, powerful, and efficient. A dying turbo is a sluggish, expensive nightmare. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more honest mechanical advice. And if you want to know which oil additives actually help your turbo and which ones are pure snake oil, click this video right here. It might just save your engine from the inside out.